Hey guys, welcome to Gamers Depot. Today we're gonna talk about the build that some of you requested. A 50,000 rupees PC build was being asked by you a lot, so here it is, guys. So this build will be just under 50,000 rupees. I did some more builds if you wanna check them out, like the link that just emerged. Also, I have mentioned all the links to parts mentioned in the video in the description, so do check them out. Now moving on to our first part, that is the CPU. I picked the Intel Core i5-4460. This is a great quad-core processor by Intel. Earlier, I did a top 5 CPUs for money video where I talked about how the i5-4460 is such a great processor for its price, for which I ranked it at the first position in that video. This processor has 6MB of cache, and being an Intel i5, it has great single core performance and very low power consumption. The only thing missing is it's not unlocked, but for people who aren't gonna overclock, it's the best processor out there. Also, one more advantage this processor gives is that you can save money on the power supply, the aftermarket cooler, and the motherboard, making this processor virtually even cheaper. Next, moving on to the graphics card. I picked the Asus NVIDIA GTX 960 4GB model. I was just so slightly able to squeeze the 4GB model into this budget. The GTX 960, being a great card, always had just one little problem of having 2GB of VRAM, which was very restricting as games these days easily eat the 2GB easily, and 2GB card would not be able to handle the upcoming games. So I tried hard and at the end was successful to include the 4GB model, which came just under 20,000 rupees. All in all, this is a great graphics card, promising 60 FPS on most games at 1080p. So you'll be quite impressed by gaming on a 960 operating machine. Also, this is one of the products of the Maxwell series of graphics cards, so you can enjoy the upcoming games through DirectX 12. The Asus model also has some great extra features, like it includes free softwares like explicit Camcaster and GPU tweak for easy overclocking of the card. Next, moving on to the RAM. I picked the Kingston HyperX Fury 8GB stick running at DDR3 1866MHz. I don't have to say much about this RAM stick. I have used it in many of my builds. The Kingston RAMs are cheap, fast, reliable, and aesthetically beautiful. I picked only 8GB because for just gaming and slight other work, 8GB is all you need. Getting 16GB that won't be used by most of you is just a waste of money. Coming at just under 2,500 rupees, this is the ideal RAM kit for this build. Next, moving on to the motherboard. I picked the Gigabyte GA B85M gaming motherboard. This is a good enough motherboard, and because we can use a B85 motherboard, it's not very expensive. It has two USB 3.0 slots, 4 SATA 6GB per second ports, and a PCI Express 3.0 x 16 slot. The only feature missing here is the lack of 4 RAM slots. Still, as we are only using one stick, here we have the option to upgrade to 16GB RAM in the future. Coming at just under 6,000 rupees, it is the right balance between budget and performance oriented in a 50,000 rupees build. Next, moving on to the hard drive. I picked the Western Digital Caviar Blue 1TB hard drive. For games these days, you need 1TB because an SSD would have been too steep for this kind of a budget-oriented build. A 1TB hard drive is what is ideal and affordable. The Caviar Blue series has quite some reliable hard drives. Next, moving on to the power supply. I picked the Corsair VS450 450W power supply. Because this is an Intel NVIDIA build, I can pick a low voltage power supply. If this was to be an AMD build, I would have surely picked something in the area of 600 watts. So specifically this build, the recommended power wattage is anything more than 341 watts. So picking a 450W power supply seemed fair enough. Also, this power supply is rated 80+ bronze certified. So all in this build doesn't need you to spend 5,000 to 6,000 on the power supply. You can easily get away with a lower wattage one. Next, moving on to the cabinet. I picked the Cooler Master CMP 250. This is a mid-tower ADX cabinet from Cooler Master with a stylish black finish, LED stripe, one pre-installed rear 120mm fan, and an overall of 7 expansion slots. To put it all together in an easy way, it's the best cabinet for the price range under 3000 rupees. So finishing off with this build, this came out to be slightly so under the budget we aspired it for. So job done successfully. Links to all parts mentioned in the video are mentioned in the description, so do check them out. Do subscribe and share the video if you liked it. Next week we have a gameplay video on schedule. Tell me in the comments what you want it for, or else we can have a discussion about something from today's build, or go ahead, ask out your doubts. I am now finishing off this video. Bye.